Welcome, everybody. This is Behind the Arc Podcast. All right now we have our two guests. We have Lele and we have Kia. Welcome, guys. Welcome.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay, so Behind the Arc Podcast, we here like to talk about things of depth, talk about human emotions. We're going to explore mental health, well-being, personal growth. We are going to be talking about heartfelt communications and connections that we have with other people. Okay, so today the Arc cast is going to be talking about the arc of communication. Welcome to our very first episode. We hope that you guys enjoy and just dive into the conversations. If you have comments, let us know. All right, guys?
Let us know. You have to let us know.
Exactly. All right, so let's start off with question number one. Question number one is, what is your favorite way to communicate? Which one of you guys want to start this off?
I could do it.
Okay, Kia, you're up. Let's go.
Well, what do you mean by communicate? Like talking?
Yeah, communication.
I like direct communication.
You like direct communication?
Yeah, like I like to just get the problem over with. I like to just talk about what's going on.
Okay.
I like direct, but I feel like in this society or generation, we gotten used to it being like over the phone
Yeah.
or like just not being in person. But I would prefer for you to like be right then and there.
Yeah, when I mean direct, that's kind of what I meant. Like just texting, talking, just getting straight to the point. Not that passionate, aggressive type of stuff.
Nah, yeah, no.
Okay. Well, for me personally, I like all forms of communication, whether it's on the phone, whether it's in person. For me, I enjoy just having that open line of communication. But as you guys know, there's different ways of communication. You know what I mean? They have the emotional where you like the physical touch. There's some people
We
that
talking about like, I'm thinking like.
No, but there's different ways of communication, different forms, right?
Yeah.
So some is verbal, some is nonverbal. So what is, I guess that's what I should have asked from the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, what is your way of communication? Are you a verbal or nonverbal type of person?
It depends on the situation.
I'm the type of person, I automatically assume that the other person knows what I need or want at that moment. Like, and then I'll get mad because you're not fulfilling what I need. So then it's like, now we're arguing because not only did you not fulfill what I needed, but I didn't communicate that with you.
Okay.
Yes, it like she said, it's hard to tell them sometimes, but then it's like you should know already. But
Right.
communication, it depends on the situation every time for me.
So you guys know, I'm all about communication, right?
And boundaries.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Boundaries is one of the biggest things that I talk about all the time. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's funny because, Layla, you said that you should know. And so did you, Kia. Both of you said you should already know. But my thing is this, right?
Yeah.
How could a person know if you never told them?
I already knew that question was coming. Like, once that thought even came out, like.
Well, it's because when you grow up and, like, say the golden rule, like, you should know how people want to be treated. So why should I have to tell you when you should already know that, though? It's like a common sense kind of thing sometimes. It just, like, depends, but it's like,
Okay.
I can agree, but back to like how you were saying is like not everybody can know what you're thinking. But from my own experience, like I'm just so used to like I'm an observant person, so I guess that's why I feel like people should know. So like if something bothers you, I'm gonna automatically feel like, okay, this bothers them, this is how they're gonna react. So not everybody's like me, so I have to just remind myself that daily or anytime that I encounter a situation.
I agree. And, Kia, you said something interesting. Like, you said it's common sense, but what if the person wasn't raised like you? What do you do in this situation?
that's the thing, is like I have to express that. And then when you express that and they still don't understand it, it's like, what do you do after that?
Right, you just feel like
Stuck.
Because
Right.
wasting my time and breath over something I've said multiple times is like,
Well, that's different. If you told somebody something multiple times, like, hey, I don't like the way you speak to me, and then they keep on talking to you like that, then yeah, you should already know. But we're talking about like if you're in the talking stage with somebody, all right? Because that's what you guys like to talk about all the time. We're in a talking stage, so that means it's an exclusive phase between you and I. But if I tell you something, it automatically means that you should know.
Yeah.
But if you never told them your boundaries or what are your pet peeves, how are they gonna know?
Cause, alright, the pet peeves are different, but like
Okay.
the normal stuff is like something that you should have to communicate. That's just
Agreed.
my thing.
All right. So what is the number one thing that should always be discussed when you are having some form of communication with a person?
Give
Like-
us like a scenario.
Like a talking stage or a regular human.
Just human. You're just a human being. We'll get into relationships in a bit.
Respect.
No, let's get into the relationships. Okay.
Well, we'll get into
Wait.
relationships
No,
afterwards.
because I have a lot to say.
But all right, let's start with the human beings first. and
Respect.
Respect.
Respect should be number one. Because
Okay.
even if you don't like somebody, you should still respect them, and you can communicate that you don't like them, but it should still be mutual respect.
Agreed.
Okay.
What about you, Lily? What do you feel?
Trust, like confidentiality.
Mm.
Like, even if you guys aren't close, like if I'm confiding in you to have this
Yeah.
conversation, it shouldn't leave just us. I mean, it shouldn't leave us. It should just stay between me and that person.
Okay. I agree. Communication, like for me, the biggest thing for me personally is always respect. If there's one thing that I always tell, people in general, when it comes down to any kids that I help out with talk or anything like that, the number one thing for me is always going to start with respect. If I feel disrespected, then you got one or two things that's going to happen. One, I will put you in your place politically correct, or number two, I just won't entertain you and you're going to be left there in your feelings because I don't got time for it. You know what I mean? So, okay. So, respect is the biggest thing for a lot of people, right? So, now when you're talking about a talking stage, right? Because this, for me, I feel that if there is no real communication in a relationship, what ends up happening is that your relationship is not going to be healthy.
It's not.
I think communication is one of the biggest things when it comes down to relationships. So, let's start off with Layla, because Layla has a lot to say about this situation, right?
Well, let's start off by saying, wait, did you say everything?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I feel like the line or the phrase, like, communication is key, is overly used or, like, just used to show, yeah, I know how a relationship goes. Like, I could use that line, but not, or I've used that line and not really known what communication was until I've gotten into a relationship. Like, it was, like, dang, I need to really tell you, like, exactly what I'm feeling, why I'm feeling this way.
Yeah.
But feeling, like, not heard could be the energy that most people receive back, especially through text, because you don't ever really know their emotions or how they're saying it.
Yeah.
And they could just be there like, no, this doesn't sound nice, let me delete it. But in person, you don't got time to think if it's gonna be right then and there.
Okay. I agree. You made a couple of good points. All right, clock your tea, as they say, right?
Right.
Clock it.
What about you?
About what?
Relationships and communications. How is that?
Oh,
What's your views on these things?
I agree with communication is key. Even though like it's really challenging to do it, I agree with communication is key, because if you're with somebody, you guys have to be on the same page. And sometimes y'all not going to be on the same page, but it's better to talk about it and like, make sure you guys are both, y'all can have different opinions and values and views on the situation, but as long as y'all both know where y'all coming from, that's what communication comes into it. Because in her mind she could be thinking something, and then his mind he could be thinking something,
Right.
and it's like if y'all don't say nothing, that's how relationships break apart.
Right, and then that's how arguments start.
Yes.
And
And arguments are a form of communication that a lot of people use to start.
right.
Just because
Just-
That was very, very powerful. Yes. You're 100% about that, because a lot of people don't know how to actually express themselves. And if they don't know how to express themselves, then they will argue with you all the time just to get their emotions out. But that's a bad trait, because it's like not everything requires you to be yelling or just
Like
having an
cursing
argument.
at you or
Yeah,
something.
I don't got time for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, number one, I'm a whole grown man, right? So you want to be arguing and yelling? I'm gonna just look at you like you stupid.
Right. I'm
Like,
gonna just sit there
I'm
in
sorry.
silence, and when you talk to me in a regular tone,
Exactly.
then I'm gonna talk.
Exactly.
Or I'm gonna
you know
be
what I
mad
mean?
at you for talking to me like that.
And and that's the one thing that I want people to understand when it comes down to communication, because kids nowadays have this thing where healthy communication
It's hard.
is hard, but it's not. It's very simple. And healthy communication is very important because not only does it impact your relationships, let's say your girlfriend, your boyfriend, but it also impacts the relationships that you have with your teachers, the relationships that you have with your peers, your friends. You get what I'm saying?
Your bosses.
Exactly. These are life skills that we try to actually help you, all the kids know.
Yeah.
And this is one thing that I always talk about with all the kids every time they come and visit me, right? And that's one of the things that I need every child that listens to this is the fact that communication is not hard. You just have to find what is the right way of communicating for you.
Yeah.
You and I are not going to communicate the same way. Me and Lele's not going to communicate the same way. Me and Kia's not going to communicate the same way. So it's very important that you find what works for you. So
Agreed.
we said that, when people are arguing, that sometimes it causes a boundary for, not a boundary, sorry, it causes
Step
a
back.
wall. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
push
somebody's,
back.
yeah. And the next question that I have right now is triggers. What causes you to resist communication?
Kia, you want to take the floor?
What causes me to resist communication is what she said earlier, not feeling heard. It's like, why would I want to talk to you if I know the type of person you are? And like, you could try and try, but sometimes with people you don't get nowhere with trying. And two, it's like, sometimes it depends on me. Like, sometimes I feel like it's not worth it to even try to communicate because it's like, it's not worth it. So it's like my resistance comes with like either how I feel or I perceive the person. Like, there's no point of telling them anything or even trying to,
I have two things. I have to answer the question, and then when she said that, why would I talk to the person if I know how they are? I don't know how I want to like project this, but a lot of situations when it's stuff like that, it don't have to do with like your self issues. It could just be the other person's issues and what they got going on with themselves, like inner selves. Like, that's why some people don't even feel the need to open up sometimes.
Yeah.
But what triggers me? Wait, what was the question?
Yeah, what are the triggers? What causes you to resist communication?
I'm the type of person to go over the conversation in my head. So I be filling my head with like negative stuff, or it may go this way. Or if I'm already talking to the person and like you're throwing words that I don't like attitude or just any of that tone, like I'm gonna just automatically like I'm gonna be there, but I'm not gonna be there.
Gotcha.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's and body language. Like if I'm talking to you and you're like, I'm gonna just walk away. Like,
yeah.
you clearly don't want me to talk to you.
I hate
that was
that.
very good. That was very good. Like I said, communication is not hard, but what a lot of people don't realize is that a lot of your communication starts from nonverbal. Body language says a lot. And if a person is engaged with you, right, you're going to see that they are truly engaged with you because of their body language, number one, and how they respond to you.
Yeah.
But for me, what causes a person to, to resist communication is, number one, I don't got time for negative stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I don't enjoy it at all. So if you're talking ultimatums, is my biggest thing. If you put me in an ultimatum, I'm just going to look at you like, okay.
And most likely choose the other option.
Yeah, just
point.
because I don't got, why are you giving me an
Right.
ultimatum?
Who are you?
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, we're supposed to be communicating. We're supposed to be friends. We're
Yeah.
supposed to be whatever the case is, girlfriend, boyfriend. And you want to put me in an ultimatum like you got to choose this or that. And I'm just going to look at you like I choose myself. How about that?
Exactly.
Right.
Because
I'm choosing
it's not that I'm being selfish. It's just that I don't have time for that negativity if you can't communicate. If I say, I'm not right now, it's not right now. You get what I'm saying? There's some things that I don't like attitudes. If there's attitudes, I'll look at you like you're dumb. So a trigger for me is the yelling, the cursing. I'll just look, certain words. There's certain words that could trigger me. I've gotten better. I'll openly admit about that. I've gotten a lot better as I gotten older, in the sense where there's certain words I just like, all right, whatever. You just sound stupid. I'll come back to you later on. But there's one thing I also like to tell kids is, or anybody, come up with a safe word. Come up with a safe word in your relationship, and the reason why is, if the argument or whatever is being talked about, it's not beneficial, then it's best that you just say the word and the conversation stops. It's not that it's over, it just stops for that moment.
Yeah.
Somebody's in their bag.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like me.
You gotta be chill. You gotta chill. I'm not with it. So let's just say I just joke about this all the time, but let's say Clorox. In the middle of a conversation, I automatically say Clorox. Either I misunderstood what you was telling me, let's stop the conversation because now I'm feeling like I'm offended or I'm just in my bag or whatever. We'll come back and talk about this later on. But it's not that the conversation is completely over. And that's one thing that I learned as I've gotten older. And, I'm trying to help everybody, every kid, learn how to communicate. That is one thing you should always have because it saves a lot of relationships.
Yeah.
And I feel like we be forgetting, like, we could go a long way if we just ask what we like for what we need, or like, why aren't you there? Why aren't you being available? Like, you could go a long way with just asking a simple question.
But you can, but most of the time, especially with this generation, like I was talking about, they won't. Like, you will, but they won't. So finding someone that will with you is like extremely. And
Agreed.
to talk about like the cursing, yelling, another thing is the manipulation that some people tend to use, like gaslighting,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Really puts me on a step back from, like, if I should even try to talk to you, or because you're trying to manipulate or gaslight me, and I'm fake too smart to be manipulated or gaslight sometimes. So it's like, what do you?
Or like, what does sorry mean to y'all? Like, if someone was to be like, "Oh, I'm sorry," like,
And then they're gonna break the sorry. So it's like I can't.
what are you doing that for?
Sorry for 2004. That's an old song. I'm sorry, my bad. You guys look at me like, what is that?
Yeah.
Don't worry. That was when I was in high school. Oh, man. No, but, you guys, you're 100% right. There's one thing that we need to figure out. Whenever you're in a relationship and everything that you're doing, you got to know how to communicate. I say that all the time. Very important.
Exactly.
Gaslighting, please. There's a lot of people that love to gaslight just because to them that's entertainment.
Yeah.
But then
And
also,
sometimes they don't realize they're doing it.
Exactly.
Because they just think that's how they should do it.
And they feel that that's their form of communication.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So it's like, we got to be mindful, guys. And this is why we're trying to bring awareness to everybody. Because communication is very important. It's going to go a long way. Don't be a manipulator. Don't be a gaslighter. This is for all you guys that's watching this right now, because when you get out there, if you try to manipulate,
the boys.
Yeah, boys and girls too. Let's not be sexist.
Right, because then watch us be on the blogs.
I didn't mean it
our
like
comedians is sexist.
No. But no, we like what we're saying is that we got to be mindful. So both males, females, don't be gaslighting manipulators, because if you keep on trying to manipulate, you're not going to get that very far, especially in careers and especially with your friends, relationships. I'm just sorry, all you're going to do is manipulate yourself into being by yourself. How about that?
I'm ready for this next question.
All right, so this one's a little tricky, but I think it's kind of fair. Okay, so the question is, do you listen to hear, or do you hear to listen?
Can I go first?
Sure.
Yeah, because I'm still processing.
Okay. At first, I was like, "What is this question?" Because it was like a riddle, but I'm not a multitask person, so I sometimes will zone out, but I'm more of a talker. Like, I'm a talker more than a listener. But I will listen to you. Like, I'm not just gonna agree to have a conversation with you and just not listen. So I don't really know which one. I guess I hear.
You listen to.
I listen to hear.
Okay.
I agree with her with the I listen to hear, because when people like she said, I listen to people, and I love to talk. So it's like, I'm gonna listen to you, then I'm gonna tell you what I heard basically from the situation. Like, I'm gonna express what I think, or just anything. Like, I listen to hear.
Awesome.
How about you? Well,
I'm gonna tell you right now. Look, so I'm gonna give you a little definition about listening and hearing. There's a big difference, right? We all hear. That's a natural thing. Of us, we can hear, right? So if we hear, that is a natural thing. But when you listen, that's a cognitive thing.
a what?
cognitive, a mind thing.
Oh.
That means you're activating your brain so that you can actually start listening to what the person is talking.
And you choose what you want to listen to.
Exactly.
Right, but like sometimes I feel like when I be doing that, then I start thinking about like, oh, but that happened to me. Then I'd be like, oh, let me talk about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Cause I'd be so quick to talk. Cause if you're not letting me talk, I'm gonna just get bored. Like while you're yapping, you have to give me time to. Like
We gotta
can't
yap together.
Yes, you can't tell me a story and not give me any breaks to tell you this girl did what. Like I have
Yeah.
to.
You gotta get in there. You gotta get in there. But that's listening is very important because of the fact that you're actively engaging. That's why I said earlier, when you're communicating with somebody, a person you will be able to know if they are listening to you because non-verbally they're looking at you. They're either their gestures.
Yeah.
They'll lean into you. They'll talk.
Nod their head.
Exactly. And then the responses that you get back. So you just said that give me time to give you some feedback because if not, then I'm just going to look at you like, all right, forget it.
Too much info.
Yeah, you're giving
just
me
keep
way
talking.
too much. I can't even
I zone out
process.
after a while. That's why I try to keep
Yes.
interacting.
Yeah.
But then it's like when I tell a story, I expect you to listen. Like,
Yeah,
don't
because I know people zone out when I
don't
talk
put me on pause.
But that's why sometimes you got to be like, hold up.
Yeah.
Give me a second. Let me process. It's okay to say that because you don't want to be rude. Like, I'm not
Right.
trying not to listen, but you're saying way too much. And it's very
Sometimes I'd be like, all right.
like, yo,
Turn
hello.
it down.
So these are good things that we have been talking about, right? Now my biggest question is this. How does this translate to communicating with your friends, teachers, or partners?
We talked about a lot of stuff.
So let's break it down. We talked about ways of communication, triggers, and active listening. Those are the three major topics that we just, categories that we discussed. So
Well,
communicating with teachers, what's the best way? How does that translate for you?
alone time.
A long time?
Because teachers tend to listen more when you have one-on-one. Because if you talk to them in front of the
Oh,
class,
alone time.
alone time.
Okay, I thought you said long time. I was like, wait, what? Long time? What?
Communication, no manipulating, no gaslighting. Just talk to your teachers.
One-on-ones. Okay. Yeah.
I feel like we coming into their classroom and they want. Okay, Diaz, you already know I come to school every day talking about something. I come here for free. They don't even pay me. Like, you guys is different. You guys come here and, you're paid. You have to. So I feel like if you're a teacher and you have a bad mood, like, no. Like, I feel like you should want your students to come to your class. Because we're already forced to come here.
Yeah.
So having that attitude but as far as communicating, I feel like if they make themselves open and, like, welcoming, then there should be no issue with how the students communicate with them.
I have a thing too, because sometimes a lot of students, all of us, we forget that teachers are also human too. So
Right.
sometimes they have bad days and stuff. But it's just like you said, the teachers that always have bad days is like at a point you gotta like think of self-reflect.
When is the good days coming?
Yeah. So
Right,
it's
like-
sometimes it also like it always depends on the person, but for teachers, communicating with them can be tricky because you gotta click with the teacher to really get engaged. Like you and Diaz, like
Right.
y'all click. So it's different for everybody because some students don't click with the same teachers we do, but other students click with the teachers we don't.
Right. That's a good point.
I'm glad that you said that because you know what, that is 100% true. I have seen students click with teachers that I just look at them like, how, man.
And then it's like, I be hearing, like, and it's opposite because it's like, there'll be people that be like, oh, well, not that I've heard. I don't like Diaz. And I'll be like, what you mean? Because it's like off
You got a problem with me seeing me in my office, right?
because it's all off of experience, you know?
Yeah.
They base
Exactly.
it all off of, like, what they...
No, yeah. And also listen to other influences just because of their friends or something. Like there was this one teacher, I'm not going to say their name, but before I had him, everybody's like, oh. And I was also like, oh, I don't want this teacher because I really thought like, dang, that teacher's bad. And we had one encounter and the teacher yelled at me. So I definitely was like, But then now when I have the teacher, it's like, oh,
It's true.
What
you're not
happened?
bad.
Yeah.
So it's
See,
also...
A lot of it...
Yeah.
A lot of it be children's immature impact on the teacher.
Yeah.
Because they will be the most sweetest teacher, and once that one class or that one group of kids is like, they just have to act that way so that the students don't cross over the teacher's boundaries.
Yeah.
Like, you're not finna come into my classroom making a mess.
Agreed.
And then some teachers, like, they also judge the students by base who they hang with, which is not good.
Yes.
You know what? That is one of my biggest pet peeves.
Generalizing me.
Yeah,
Like,
because me, like when I was in high school, I was not the greatest kid. I know that for a fact. I cut a lot. I did a lot of things that I shouldn't be doing. But I had one teacher that always looked out for me, and I say this all the time. You know, this man went above and beyond. Things that you shouldn't be doing to a kid, he'll slap me on top of the head, like, what are you doing? Things like that. But he actually took his time to educate as much as possible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I hung out with a lot of kids, and I'm still friends with these kids to this day. And some of them I'm not. But we're talking about gangbangers, people that did a lot of stuff that you shouldn't be doing. And they're like, dude, that's not who you are. And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. I've never associated with myself or never claimed anything, never joined anything, but I was always around them. But I was always considered or generalized as one of those kids. You get what I'm saying? So it was like, all right, I'm a troublemaker. I'm going to die in the streets. I'm going to be locked up. That's what everybody kept on saying about me. And yet I don't have no arrest record. I'm here helping the youth. I'm here doing a lot more stuff outside of my personal life. So everything that you thought I was going to be,
You was never that.
exactly.
and that's probably, well, let me not.
Yeah.
They're probably in that position.
Yeah, probably.
Right.
You know, so, this is the one thing that I realize when it comes down to communication, and especially with students. Like, I treat them how I want to be treated. Like,
Yeah.
and I tell them, and like, respect is a mutual thing. It's a two-way street. I'm gonna give you respect. You're gonna give me respect. But the moment you disrespect me, you best to believe I am going to get ratchet with you. I'll disrespect you in a heartbeat,
Yeah.
only because that's the same thing that you're giving me. But it's not that I'm going to treat you like that all the time, every year. No, because I know that you could change immediately. But those who want to keep on acting in a way that they're not, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Then I'm just going to look at you like you're a fool. I will treat you like a fool.
No,
Because
literally.
that's what you want to be. You want to have this persona. And I will tell you all the time, that's not who you are. And those students that actually listen to me, or just in general, when they say, Ms. Diaz, it was just you saying, I'm not that person, is when I realize now why you said it. And it's like, oh, okay, awesome. Thank you for listening. But if you don't want to listen to me, don't worry. Eventually it's going to hit you in your head, and you're going to remember the fat guy with the beard told you.
DJ Khaled Dupe.
Uh-huh. Hello. Listen, something here that I said stood out, and it worked for you. And that's what I keep teaching that whenever I go into classes and I teach and all that. And that's what I try to help, when in my sessions with the kids. That's the biggest thing, So, all right, so we got that with teachers. Now let's get into the good parts. Friends.
Okay. I would like to say communication with friends, it depends on the friend most.
Okay.
Because everybody takes things differently. And one thing, you have to be honest with your friends. That's
Agreed.
one of the things a friendship really needs to keep going, because it's like you might feel this way about something, they not, and then it's just a bunch of, and now they think you're fake or some stuff like that. It's just too much. So with friends, communication is being honest with them.
Right. I guess a lot of people, when they have friends, they like to choose their sides. Or yeah, you're not wrong, but telling your friends when they're wrong, or when they're doing something no, you're tripping, is important.
Yes, because they
Very
feel
important.
like as your friend you should always be by their side, but I am by your side. It's
And
just
some people take that as oh, you're not even there for me.
you're not even my friend for real,
right.
because you're not on my side. No, it's a difference between right and wrong, and friend or not friend. A fake friend or somebody that's not on your side will tell you, yeah, you're right, when you're totally wrong.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Boundaries is very important, especially with friends too, because I got my homies. We all stood on simple principles, and to this day, that was still cool. You know what I mean? Those principles have never been crossed. Doesn't matter how long it is. My best friends, I have known them since I was in freshman in high school.
Yeah.
So that's over 20 years of friendship right there. And I haven't I don't have to hang out with them all the time. I don't have to speak to them all the time. But every time,
Exactly.
it's always respect, no matter what. We crack hella jokes. Don't get it twisted. We start roasting sessions as soon as we see each other. But there's that respect, and that's the one thing. If you don't have that respect in the midst of your friendship.
I had a friendship like that too, where
Where'd I go?
Oh, sorry.
No,
No,
go.
go.
Oh, I had a friendship like that too, where it was like we was really close, like really close, but we weren't honest with each other about certain stuff. But like it was basically like on the outside we were the perfect friends, and then on the inside it was like we wasn't really giving what we should have really gave. So stuff like that breaks up friendships, because I should have been telling her how I really felt about certain things, but instead I didn't. So it was like, it was like, yeah.
Agreed.
I say for me, I just now started being more honest about how I feel. Like, I'm not letting nobody, like, if I don't want to do something, you're not finna make me do it.
Oh, of course.
Like, when I first started high school, I would be like, my
people
mind would
pleaser?
just be friends. Like, I would always want to be around my friends. But now it's like, now that it's true, your group gets smaller. I'm dolo. Like, I be walking to my class by myself. So it's like, but I still do have my friends. I still do have
Yeah.
people, say hi, bye to. But,
And people grow up.
right, people grow up. People have different visions, or like, some people, like, I'll probably want to cut someone off because they're not benefiting me in my life.
Yeah.
Like, but I'm not, because I feel like that's up to me. Like,
Mhm.
I need to stay focused on whatever I have going on and not let anybody around me
Exactly.
dictate it.
Influence you too, and
Right.
go off your track when you know what you want to do and how you want to do it.
And also, friends that know, like, what you're trying to do in life, and then they trying to, like, knock you down
Yeah.
Mhm.
or any of that.
Toxic friendships.
That's very important. You can't be.
Yes.
You cannot at all be friends with people that are gonna be ruining everything that you're trying to work for.
Yeah.
Makes no sense. Awesome. Good
No,
part.
yeah. I gotta communicate better.
Yeah, me too. I feel like we all could use improvement. Like, we're not all perfect on.
And
The-
everything that we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not all perfect on any.
I agree. I still have to get better at communicating with some adults. Because sometimes they get on my nerves, and I just look at them like, "Are you stupid?" But I can't say that. It's not right. But awesome. All right, everybody.
Oh, partners.
Partners. Oh yeah, I almost forgot about that part. Ooh.
Partners.
All right. How does this communication translate to your partners? Like,
You started.
Okay. Can I do it based off experience?
sure, why not?
Okay.
Of course.
Story time.
Story time. Based off experience, I feel like it, like how I said before, it always depends on how the person, like, what they're going through, because obviously you go into a relationship thinking, yeah, we're gonna communicate, yeah, we're gonna do the steps that relationship has, but everybody goes through their own stuff. Everybody goes through their own trauma, like what triggers them, and you're not really gonna know who you're dealing with until you have those quote unquote ugly conversations. So it's like, for me, I was like, this person was never like meant to communicate for real. This person was never really meant to communicate for real, and I always made that my issue, but I was doing what I had to do, and I had to realize it was not my issue, like, at all. And especially giving them different like ways that we can communicate. Like, either being on the phone. If you don't want to be on the phone, text, in person. Do you even want to communicate? So, and sometimes saying nothing says everything. Like, if you ask for something and they don't say anything, that's your answer.
Yeah.
Facts.
Hell yeah.
That is true.
Clock it.
That was not bad.
Yeah. With me, communication with like a partner is like, it's hard for me because of the
Vulnerability.
Yeah, that. I know it, but it's because of that. Because it's like trusting people can also really be hard. So once we pass that stage and like something happens and you just like do something weird, it's like,
Or it feels like a part, like they just took a part of you.
yes, like I do not want to waste my time. So it's like, that's why communicating with a partner or a talking stage, whatever, is really hard. Because it's like, at the same time, I can't really care, but it's like when you try to care and they don't care, it's just, it's also it's just finding the people that know how to communicate.
Or when they try to make you open up to, like, in a sense where, like, oh, I want to help you, I want to be there for you,
Yeah.
but then they just end up making you open up just to
like do something different.
Right. Just to know about what you're feeling or what you're
Yeah.
going through.
And then when they don't care and do stuff like that, it's so weird. Like I'd rather, like, even though it's still hard, I'd rather somebody like really not care about me and express that instead of them pretending. Cause
Right.
it's like, no.
Yeah, no. I don't like that two-faced energy stuff.
Yeah, but then that also falls in line with the gaslighting.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
get what I'm saying? That's all the things, the manipulation, or, they're just poor
Yeah.
communicators. And, I have
Do you
been
think-
guilty of that.
Do you think guys think that girls are bad communicators?
Yes and no. I'm going to tell you that because for me personally, I will say that before. No, it's fine. My communication was horrible.
But what is
I'm not gonna say nothing because it sounds sexist.
No.
What?
No. Before, my communication was horrible. Do I think guys communicate better? Depends on the situation. We're more direct with what we say. And ladies, sometimes for me, I feel it's just sometimes they're a little vague.
what does that mean?
Vague
Like-
meaning that you're not giving me the meat and potatoes. You're just saying,
It's like
I want
clues and
Yeah, I don't got time for the guessing games.
spots.
I don't got time. Oh, don't you think this will look nice on me?
Well,
Does
because
it,
we
all
wanna
you gotta
know.
do is just say,
I mean, even though
does
we're
this
gonna
look
go-
good on me? Yes or no? Yes,
Oh.
it looks good on you. You get what I'm saying? Things like that. But now,
but-
like, oh, do you? I wonder what it's like to go eat at this place.
And then they
Just
want
tell me you want to
take-
go to the restaurant.
Yeah.
That's just how I am. Like, I don't know. It's easier that way. Tell me what is it that you want. Me directly, I'll tell you what is it that I want. I'm not gonna give you that whole
Yeah.
because
Or you know how some people they get overstimulated because like they're around people or they're around their partner's side of the family and they actually show affection. Like they're all about hugging and all of that. Me, I never grew up in a household where we would communicate our feelings. So now
meaning
that
what? Like
like
physically,
communicate
like hugging people, or
hugging or like communication like verbally. Like yeah, we'll talk obviously, but like as far as like
Affection.
right or like oh I didn't like how you did this, like it wouldn't ever be like that. But
Same.
now when I experience it, it does like scare me because it's like how am I the person that you're ever this comfortable with telling your business to or like communicating to, period. But I'm now just feeling comfortable with like letting my mom know like oh I don't like how you did that, but like coming off in a good tone because it's
Yeah.
like
tone is very important.
yeah, tone. And having time after, like, don't communicate right when the incident happens.
Yeah, because then it's like you're going based off your emotions just
Yeah.
now when you have to calm down, give it some time. Because
Exactly.
I agree with her. Like, I grew up, like, I could tell them how I feel, but sometimes I feel like they're just shutting it out because you're a kid. And
Or, like, I'll be second guessing
Yeah.
myself, like, should I really?
no, yeah. So when growing up like that, it does affect sometimes, like, how you communicate with people outside. Because it's like if they would shut my feelings out when I was younger, but, you know, it's like,
Yeah.
should I even keep going?
Right. And also, me, I'm a very, not to sound cocky, but I like to, like, identify myself as a very independent human being.
That's not cocky.
So it's like when people, like how I said earlier, I expect them to know like what I want. It's because I know what I want.
Yeah.
So it's like I know myself. So it's like if I have you around me, it's because I expect you to know me in a way.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's another reason. Like, see, I just answered my own question. I feel like that's another reason why I'm always expecting whoever's around me to just know, or whoever, significant other, friend, partner, to just know what I want.
Yeah. Wait.
All right, awesome.
Wait, I have a question. Do you
I have an
think?
answer.
Do you think that drunk thought? Wait, what is it? Drunk
Thoughts.
drunk
Drunk
thought.
words are sober thoughts.
Yes. Do you think that that's true?
Yeah. Completely.
Yes and no.
Oh, okay.
Yes and no. As a counselor, when it comes down to addiction and all that, like when I counsel people, when I was working in the field, in the clinical field, there's not much. How can I say this? When a person is drunk, they don't have control of themselves. They don't have control of their thoughts. They're irrational. they're not able to communicate effectively, and that's why I say yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's people that have things hidden in their heart.
Yeah, because I was going to say
And
there's
that's
some
different.
truth to it.
There could be yes and no. Like there's some people that have some type of animosity towards you, and now since they don't have no control of themselves, they'll end up saying what's in their heart.
Exactly.
When
They
the
wanna
liquor is
fight.
involved.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Even,
like,
even
there's
it
some
doesn't
truth.
even have to be liquor itself. It could be any type of substance at all. At all times, any time. It could be weed. It could be alcohol. It could be cocaine. It could be heroin. Sedatives. Any type of thing that you could think about that alters their mind. Because the thing is that when you alter your mind, you're cognitively not able to control yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So
Which
that's
is
why.
then why they go into like derealization, right?
Mhm.
I hate
So
that.
this is why you cannot have conversations or communicate with people who are under the influence.
Yeah.
That's a big.
What if
thing.
y'all both under the influence?
Yeah, y'all both not gonna understand what the hell y'all talking about. Y'all gonna be throwing thoughts out there and be figuring it out like, yo, what did you say to me? Yo, I don't even know what
That's
you said
why
to me.
fights be happening.
Exactly, because then it's also a misunderstanding. It's not registering in your brain what's happening, and the communication is just again, communication is very important. But I feel, and I know that whenever a person is under a substance, they cannot communicate effectively.
No, yeah.
You know, so you got to take it with a grain of salt. But then that's something that you could question on them later on, like, you know, when you was
Like
spitting
you
some
said
words.
this.
Now, of course, they can say, "Oh, I was drunk, so I don't know what I was saying and what I was doing." All right, so but is there any truth? Is there any hidden truth to the statement that you made? Because if there is, then we got to figure it out.
You gotta talk about it.
Exactly, and it's very important that you have those conversations as well sometimes. But don't hold on to those words. Sometimes they could just be spewing a bunch of nonsense, and that's not what the person really feels or anything like that. So you got to take that into account and really talk about it sometimes. And don't take it personal. I will say that.
No, I take everything personal.
You shouldn't. You shouldn't. Taking things personal, whatever people say, that really affects you. That affects your well-being mentally. It affects you emotionally, and you don't got time for it because what ends up happening is that it manifests outside physically. It affects your body.
Sometimes I think about it like, if I take something somebody else say personal, but what about my personal thoughts to them? So it's like, are they taking what I'm saying personal? Because it's like, I feel a way too and you feel a way. Or you got this thoughts about me, I got this thoughts about you. So what are we going to do about it?
Talk about it.
Exactly. Or we're going to, talk about it. Or, no, I'm not saying like, not to fight, but I'm
No,
saying
I know.
like,
I know what you're saying.
either we're going to move on with our lives. Because it's like, okay, everybody has an opinion of somebody. So it's
Right.
like,
And that's the thing. People could have opinions. All right, I'm going to express this to everybody. You could have opinions. Everybody's entitled to them. Do I have to receive it? No.
This is
So
why
guess
it's good
what?
that we don't get paid for having opinions.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
If I was to get paid for every opinion that I had, forget about it. I will be rich.
Jeff Bezos.
I should say I will be
Okay.
wealthy because there's a lot of opinions I have. But again, a wise man keeps his mouth shut. So I keep my mouth shut in certain situations, and that's why I don't give it to everybody. But opinions can, affect people, and it does play into the communication roles with other people.
Yeah.
Because then some people's opinions about you is what they see, and then they're gonna communicate it to you, and that's kind of sucks depending on how they view you. But you know what? It is what it is. It's a them problem, not a me problem. So kick rocks. I don't care. It is what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So that is. Oh yeah, that is.
Guys, guess what? We're done.
All right, guys, we are done for today's episode. All right. Thank you so much, Lele. Thank you so much, Kia.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate you guys for joining me on the first episode of Behind the Arc podcast.
Yep.
We're going to see you guys on the next episode, and we're going to be having a couple of new guest speakers, and that is going to be called the episode of Arc of Compromise. So we're going to figure all this out, guys, and we'll see you guys next episode. Please tune in, keep on watching, spread the word, share it with your friends. We appreciate you all. Thank you so much. Love ya.
Bye.
Bye.